Welcome to the ninth grade experience. I'm your host, Chris Dutchko. As a teacher of freshmen and one of our freshman mentor committee faculty advisors, I spend a lot of my school day thinking about and helping students with the successful transition from middle school to the halls of Emmaus High School. The goal of this podcast is to give you the story of the ninth grade here at Emmaus High School through the people who live it daily, the students and staff. We will attempt to touch on the real issues and stories that ninth grade students face, ranging from academics to athletics, technical school, and just trying to find your way as one person in a community of approximately 2,700 students. We will also look to speak with some of the influential staff members who play a key part in a student's ninth grade year. It is the hope that future ninth grade students and their families can use the tips and insights provided here to begin making connections to their potential new school and learn more about the day-to-day lives of the students that they will one day become and realize from day one that ninth grade counts. You can learn more about this episode and all of the episodes of the ninth grade experience by following us on Twitter at EHSFMC or at Chris Stutchko, or following the hashtag EHS9counts, or our website, sites.google.com/eastpennsd.org/ninth grade experience. Before we jump into today's topic, let's thank our sponsor for this show, the East Penn Education Foundation. This podcast has been made possible through a $1,000 grant awarded to teachers like me each year who are attempting to do unique projects in the area of science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. The foundation supports programs that put learning in motion by giving students the tools they need to think actively in a complex and changing world. You can follow them on Facebook at EPSD Education Foundation, on Twitter at EPSD EdFound, or on Instagram at EPSD Ed Foundation. Now on to the show. When Maddie Carlson was asked to be a guest on today's show, she had one favor to ask. She wanted her friend Abby Burnett to record as well. Luckily for the listeners, her request is everyone's benefit because on this episode, you will get to hear from two high-performing students making great strides in their ninth grade years. The girls are both members of the Key Club as they look to help out in their community and build friendships with other classmates. In addition to taking rigorous class loads, Maddie is a member of student government and orchestra, while Abby just completed an outstanding season as a starter on the District 11 champion and state Final Four field hockey team. So remember that as you go through your ninth grade year, everyone is figuring out high school together, and here to help you along the way are Maddie and Abby. Hi, and welcome to this episode of the Ninth Grade Experience podcast. I'm here with two freshmen who are performing awesome so far during their freshman year and involved in lots of different stuff. So we're going to take a couple minutes today and introduce you to them and hear their stories and how they've adjusted to life here at Emmaus High School. So I'm here with Abby Burnett and Maddie Carlson, who are going to tell you a little bit about their freshman year. So thanks for joining us today, ladies. All right, so everyone knows who's, while the people are listening, why don't you take a second, introduce yourselves so they can kind of hear your voice and kind of know who's who on the microphone here.
Hi, I'm Abby Burnett, and I play field hockey, and I'm in Key Club, and I take 3 honors classes.
Okay.
I'm Maddie Carlson. I'm in student government, Key Club, and yeah.
So we have some people that are really involved here today in the school, hopefully giving you a little bit of perspective about some different stuff that you can get yourself involved with here at Emmaus High School. So the first question we always ask everybody is, how has your ninth grade experience been? So what has it been like so far? We're about a month or 2 months into the school year, one full marking period. So how has the transition to Emmaus High School been?
It's been great for me, at least. I remember the first day, I was really nervous to come here, but once I got to school, no one, it's completely different from what the stereotype of high school is, and I really like it. It's a lot better than middle school. So.
And it seems and that's interesting that you say that it's a lot better than middle school. We've recorded a lot of these episodes, and it seems like all the students kind of have this. It's better than middle school. It's better than middle school. So maybe we'll have to dive into that a little bit more. So how about you, Abby? So how's your start of your year been?
My ninth grade experience has been great. I've learned to balance my classes and sports, and everyone has been really helpful. I remember the first day, like, if, like, I looked confused, someone would just be like, oh, are you okay? Do you need help getting to a class? A lot of my teammates over the summer helped me get used to the high school and just get to know the place here. And as Maddie said, it's a lot better than middle school. There's a lot more freedom and leniency and even more responsibility too.
Cool. So we'll talk about that freedom and how do you guys deal with that during the course of the day here. But I'm going to start with something you both have in common, and that is Key Club. So we try to focus on different things that students are doing outside of the classroom here. So Key Club is one of those things that it seems like a lot of people join, but I don't know if a lot of people know what Key Club is. So can you guys talk about what Key Club is, why you thought you might want to be involved with that, and some of the stuff that you have done so far, or maybe that you know is coming up here as we kind of close out 2019 and kind of move into the next year here?
So Key Club is a student-run community service club, and it's sponsored by the Kiwanis Club. I know I've been to the Miracle League Trick or Treat last month for an event, and that was really great to just get involved with the community. And they also, like, you can bring stuff in to get your hours, so it's just a great way to get involved.
Was there something that you saw, like, early in the year? Like, why Key Club? We have so many different things here at the high school, volunteer opportunities. Was there something specific about Key Club that you knew, or, like, did you know anyone that was in it that kind of maybe gave you a little bit of the heads up on what was Key Club about?
Well, we both have friends who are in Key Club, so I think that was one of the main reasons that we both wanted to join it. And also, like I said, it's just a great way to give back to the community. And I also think too that because it's student run, it was a cool experience to do. Okay,
and how about you, Abby? Would it same story about why you wanted to be part of Key Club?
Yeah, a couple of my older teammates were also in Key Club, and they said it's a really good way to, like, get involved. And I've always wanted to do stuff with the community, but I never, like, knew, like, really a way to do it. And Key Club was kind of like a gateway to, like, to different activities and different, like, ways to volunteer. So it was a good thing to, like, learn about and, like, even, like, not bonding, but, like, learning about the Kiwanis Club and seeing, like, what, like, adults do in the community as well.
Do you see a lot of freshmen in that club? I don't know if you know everybody in the freshman class. Obviously, with close to 700 people, it's hard to know people. But do you notice a lot of freshmen joining Key Club? And is it like a club that you would say is freshman friendly, that they kind of can accept a lot of different people?
I would say that there's a lot of freshmen in Key Club. Like, when we go to meetings, you look around and you can, or at least I look around and I see, like, people that I know and, like, people that are in my classes. And I would say that, like, it's not a stressful thing. Like, everybody is so nice there, and, like, it's very freshman friendly. There's not a lot of, like, requirements, or, like, there are requirements, but there's not a lot of things that you need to worry about. And if you're just getting started in high school, it's a good thing to have people you can, like, that can help you.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So is there any other club, and I know you guys are busy with other things as well too, but is there any other club or organization that you are a part of or want to be a part of, or kind of have gotten in? I know, Maddie, you're kind of involved with SGA. You said there at the top. So why SGA? How did you get involved with that? And in the early going, what have you kind of taken away from SGA, and what has that experience been like?
In middle school, I was in student council both years, so I mean, like, automatically I knew that I wanted to apply for student government because it's something that, like, I really like doing in middle school. Mm-hmm. And really, I think honestly that it's the most that I've taken away from it so far, like, is definitely just, like, how much really just goes into something. And, like, how much responsibility you have. And because, like, for homecoming, this had all been, like, planned before I had gotten in. But, like, when we were doing, when it was homecoming week and the pep rally, like, there were so many different things that went into it. And there was just, like, it was just a lot. Like, and I think that I took away from that, like, time management is a huge thing for that, because we had to leave our classes early and get the work. And I know that was kind of tough for me because I was missing my math class, which is probably my biggest class that I have to take. So it really just helped me manage my homework with activities during school.
Yeah, and you were talking about just the level of not really understanding all the stuff that goes into the production of things and all that. And I think that's kind of an interesting take for, especially as a freshman, you guys come in and you kind of see this thing that's Emmaus High School kind of running and doing its thing, and then you have the dances and all that stuff, but you don't really understand all the planning that goes behind it. So it's an interesting that you got a chance to really kind of take a step back and see that and kind of see the planning that went into all that kind of stuff. You talked about your classes and some of your more difficult classes. So we'll focus a little now on the academics and kind of how you have taken your, you're dealing with your outside school stuff, and Abby will get to some of your outside school stuff in a couple minutes here, but you're all taking challenging course loads, multiple honors classes, second years of language. So how have you guys been able to balance that? We talked about the time management stuff, but it kind of comes up on every episode. But what have you specifically done or had a chance to do to kind of balance some of the crazy workload that you guys have and with your busy fall schedules and going into the winter here?
I think really using your study halls to your advantage. I know a lot of people you see in study hall, like, watching Netflix, like, you get freedom to go on your phone, but really use the study halls to do your work. Because if you're involved in sports or even in a club, like, you don't have as much time after school. And, like, even, like, at home you could have stuff to do. Like, if you can get your homework done in a study hall, it helps so much. And even, like, just like balancing that. If you have a study hall in the morning, doing your morning classes work then, and if you have a study hall later in the day, like doing your homework then, and then you have the time to like study at home or like, I don't know, use your free time that you have instead of using your time at home on your homework.
So I have a question for you, and this is maybe a weird question, but how did you figure that out? Like, did somebody, like, sit down and work with you on time management? Did you kind of come up with it on your own? Was it something that does your team talk about, like, how to, like, kind of structure that? Because you have a lot of girls on the team that are super busy and involved in lots of different things. Like, how did you kind of figure that out?
Well, I heard a lot of girls on the team talking about how stressed they are about all their homework, like, getting home from a game and having to do, like, 2 hours of homework after we get home from a game at 8 o'clock. And, like, during the start of the school year, I didn't get as much homework because we were just getting, like, involved, like, just getting started and getting learning. But I realized that, like, that's a lot of stress and, like, I didn't really need that. And so I realized, like, that I needed to use my time wisely. And, like, I kind of came up with that on my own, like, just being able to, like, manage it and stuff. Like, even in middle school, like, we had 9th period. And, like that was our study hall. And, like, I still had sports after school. And just, like, learning to, like, use that time. So, like, it's just something you have to learn. And
how about you, Maddie? What has the adjustment been like for you here at the high school with, like, getting work done and also finding that the balance and kind of balancing your schedule with because it looks like you have a lot of your classes right there at the end of the day.
Yes.
It looks like I think Abby has hers, it looks like, more at the beginning, and you have yours more at the end. So even what's that like, having to balance like your harder quote harder classes at the end of the day here? So what is that kind of like as you kind of go through your day and have to do your harder classes at the end?
Well, every day I have a 3rd period study hall. On every other day I have a 2nd period study hall. And it's been, at first it was really challenging for me because I have American Studies right before that, and then all of my classes right in a row are all in the afternoon, and it was really difficult for me to like try and balance that because I could never get any of my work done before I left school. So, and on top of that, I had softball after school, and it was just really hard at first, but then the more like that I had gotten used to having those study halls, I do my homework every single day, like right after I get home from school, and then a lot of times if I can't get any of it done because my parents, like, they make me go to bed at an early time. So, like, I'll use that study hall to get the work that I didn't get to do the night before, like, during that study hall, so then I have it for the day after. And that's how I've kind of just balanced it. Yeah.
So you've been able to kind of figure that out, and even working around that kink in the schedule is that you literally, like, after lunch, I'm just kind of looking at your schedule now since I have them up. It's like right after lunch you have French, a double period of math, science, and English 9 honors to end the day. So literally after lunch you just go. So you don't even have a chance to stop.
No.
Where Abby, your schedule looks like it's a little bit more friendly in the afternoon, with maybe having a study hall here, and you kind of have, you know, skills for living and some other things that are kind of, they're hard classes, but they're not like your challenging honors level classes. So you do have a little bit of a break there at the end of the day. So Maddie, you mentioned softball. Abby's been kind of dancing around the field hockey thing here for a little bit. So we'll kind of dive into the sports a little, and right now it's just kind of talking about that. So that's another area that a lot of our freshmen are involved in. So Abby, we'll go to you first here. Your season just ended, so you're part of the varsity field hockey team, which is awesome as a freshman. Not very many freshmen make the varsity, so you have that going on. So talk a little bit to us about the process of becoming a varsity field hockey player as a freshman. That's not something that normally happens. So can you just talk a little bit about, like, maybe, like, what did that look like coming up from the middle school? Like, how did you make it happen, and what does it kind of look like for you?
Well, coming up from the middle school, I was one of the team captains on the IR team, and, like, I knew that high school season was going to be tough, and, like, preseason and, like, preparing beforehand was going to be tough. And I just think, like, putting my mind to it and working hard, like, that was really just what kept me going, was that, like, I have a chance of starting varsity as a freshman. And, like, that was what kept me going, and I really wanted to achieve that. And I think just having that, like, mental drive to, like, do it.
And we were talking before we started, you said you started playing field hockey in first grade. So you kind of have been building towards this, not necessarily like as your life goal to be the varsity freshman, at Emmaus here, but it's something that you've continuously put the effort in and worked towards. So can you just kind of go through that process of, like, because I know a lot of times that, like, when we have the kids come up from the middle school to the high school, they don't really quite understand how difficult it is to be a varsity athlete. So what is that like? As you were kind of coming up and you kind of knew, you seemed like you had a sense that maybe you'd make it and you'd be able to start. So that's even another layer of being a freshman player on the varsity. So how did you kind of get that into your mind, like, coming up through middle school and, like, coming into high school, that, like, this is something that, like, I'm going to realistically have a shot at doing?
Well, like, as you said, I started field hockey in first grade. It wasn't really serious. It was just, like, little, like, fun practices that were run by the high school team. And, like, just going through that, like, every year. And then, like, 7th grade, I had to make a decision because I also played soccer. And I made the decision for field hockey. And once I made that decision, I put all my time and all my effort into field hockey. And, like, just practicing every day, getting better. And, like, when I got to, like, when we started having those practices in May, where, for the high school team, like, just realizing that, like, I have a chance, or, like, realizing that you have to work hard to get what you want. And, like, it was a realization that, like, that it's, like, harder, like, than the middle school, but realizing that I have to work harder to get there.
Okay, so we'll come back to a little bit more of that in a second here. I want to make sure we get back to Maddie here, who's also trying out for sports here, and she's trying out for softball in the spring. She kind of mentioned that a little bit earlier, that she was already doing the fall practices, and she plays basketball as well too, but not at the high school. So talk to us a little bit about softball. Now, softball is a spring sport, but we're here in November, and you said you were going to practice. So what does, like, that's probably not something that at the middle school people are used to, going to a, like, fall practice for a spring sport. So what has that kind of been like, and kind of the preparation for softball?
Well, for the workouts, that they had at the school, my rec season actually interfered with that, so I was not able to go to the school workouts for softball. But once my season had ended and the workouts had ended, I made the decision that I did want to try out. So it's been, my dad has been helping me practice so that way I can get ready for the spring tryouts. And then basketball is starting soon, but that's just a rec sport. That's just like my second sport, so I have something to do in the winter. So
for softball though, so you're getting ready to try out, like, do you know other freshmen that are going to try out, and like what do you think that experience is going to be like, as you're already preparing yourself, and like we hear the announcements on the morning like that, it's really hard to believe that they're having like outdoor practices for like certain sports in like 35-degree weather. Mm-hmm. And I know Abby just finished our season off playing in 35-degree weather, so we'll talk a little bit about that too. But when you think softball, you're not thinking like hats, gloves, and scarves to kind of practice a little bit. So what is that like? What is the dedication, or what do you think you've had to kind of figure out about like the playing a varsity sport here, or fresh, trying out for JV or freshman or varsity or whatever level you're going to try out for that?
I feel like any level it's going to require dedication for sure, because it's not like you can just like show up and try out and make the team. Because I know from middle school and stuff, I tried out in 7th grade and I did not put any effort into practicing, and I did not make the team because of that. So I think that was really my realization that like if I want to do this in high school, I have to start practicing more. Mm-hmm. And like I have to prepare. So yeah.
So preparation is something that I know that I'm sure, Abby, you've been kind of drilled into, and with Coach Butz, who's been here for, it feels like forever. She's, 40 years, the most winningest field hockey coach in the United States, all these different things. Has she given you any sort of, like, I don't want to say like words of wisdom, but like how has she kind of helped to, you've had this strong force here that's been in Emmaus for a really long time. How has she kind of shaped your 9th grade experience and shaped like kind of what you've kind of done this year?
Well, her and her assistant coach, Larry Beans, came up to me and one of the other varsity freshmen and said to us, like, this is going to be hard. You guys are going to struggle. It's different from like our club team, or like which we both play on together, and it's gonna be different. It's gonna be hard. You're gonna get pushed around. You're gonna get yelled at. Like, it's gonna happen. And like just having that straight away, like someone telling us it's gonna be hard, prepared us for what was gonna come. And it was hard. It was a lot of pressure, being a freshman, not knowing what's going on most of the time. Like the upperclassmen, they were really nice, but they weren't that much of a help sometimes, and they didn't really tell us what was going on, so we were confused. Like, I remember first game for walkouts, we had no idea what we were doing, and like we had no idea what the cheers were, but we leaned on each other as freshmen and like worked together, and we worked hard. And like, but I think originally having that, like someone say like, this is gonna be hard, you're gonna need to work hard, was something that really helped, because we needed to put our minds to it.
Do you feel like any additional pressure going forward now, as like you made it as a freshman? Did you say you started as well too?
Yes.
So you started as a freshman with Emmaus field hockey. That brings all these different things to it. But now, do you feel pressure going forward? Like, I did it as a freshman. Now I got to do it for 3 more years, and then all the other things that come along with being part of the Emmaus field hockey tradition here.
I really don't feel that much pressure. I think when I got there and I got used to the team, like I found my place there. We all became like sisters, and like there is a little bit of pressure of like, you got to do this again, you got to do this all over again, like got to go through preseason again, you have to do season again, like, but it was fun. It was a good like experience, and I want to do it again. So like, yes, there's some pressure, like I have to do this again, but it was fun like to do.
So we've talked for a little while here, so we're going to start to wrap it up a little. But you both of you have talked about being involved in the school and finding your way a little bit and taking demanding classes and all that other stuff. So if you were to give one tip to either current 9th graders or to a 8th grader that's listening to this, they're on their way up to 9th grade. They could be listening to it like in the summertime or whatever. What's one thing that you would tell that student that would help them that maybe you at the beginning did not know, or maybe you kind of have slowly realized over the first couple months of school here?
For me, I would say to any 8th grader or 9th grader, school is your number one priority. This is like what's going to get you to college. College is going to get you to have a career. And just like don't focus on anything, like don't get involved with drama. Don't get involved with anything stupid that's going to jeopardize like your school career, because this is like what's setting you up for the rest of your life. And right now school is your job. So you really need to just like make sure that this is what your priority is.
I totally agree with Maddie with that. Like, even as me talking to colleges and stuff, they really need you to have those good grades. Like, even socially, like, you need to be like social and good with other people, and like that's really, really important. But I would say for an incoming 9th grader next year or 9th grader now, really lean on the people that you care about, because they will help you through it. Like, if you're stressed or something, just talk to somebody. It really helps. Like, even if you know people that are upperclassmen, ask them for help. It really helps. Like, I would say that was my number one like thing, is I had my teammates to lean on, teammates to ask about, and I had my friends and like as upperclassmen and in 9th grade that like they're going through the same thing. We're all in this together. Like, lean on each other and like help each other.
It was a great point you and we'll end with it, that you guys are all doing this together, whether you're playing field hockey or you're in Key Club or whether you're at LCTI or anywhere. You're all 9th graders here at Emmaus High School together and going through lots of similar experiences. So leaning on people and leaning on each other and kind of getting that support system. It's a great suggestion, great tip there. So just wanted to take the time here to thank Abby and Maddie for coming by and sharing lots of great insights and lots of great things about their 9th grade year. So continued success, ladies, and thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thank you for having us.